Hello, beautiful people. Today, let's step into a story from Genesis 18, a story about kindness, faith, and the power of one voice. Picture this. Abraham, resting in the shade at his tent in the blazing desert heat, not expecting anything out of the ordinary. It's in these quiet, ordinary moments that the extraordinary often arrives. Suddenly, God appears, disguised as three travelers. This isn't just history, it's an invitation. How do we respond when the unexpected shows up at our door? Abraham's story reminds us our greatest blessings often come quietly, disguised as interruptions. So, settle in. Let's walk through this chapter together, not as a history lesson, but as a conversation about living with open hearts. Let's begin. Abraham looks up from his daily routine and notices three men standing nearby, unexpected visitors appearing in the heat of the day. Without a moment's hesitation, he rushes out to greet them, his heart open and his actions swift. He bows low before these strangers, showing deep respect, and immediately offers them water to wash their feet, shade to rest from the sun, and food to restore their strength. Abraham insists that they stay, eager to serve and make them comfortable. He has no idea that these are not ordinary travelers, but divine messengers in disguise. His hospitality is not calculated. It is instinctive, generous, and sincere. He hurries to Sarah, asking her to quickly knead the finest flour into bread. He chooses the best calf from his herd, instructing his servant to prepare it with care. Every detail matters to Abraham. He wants his guests to feel honored and valued. Abraham serves his guests with a warm smile, offering them the best he has, not out of obligation or custom, but from a place of genuine compassion and love for others. His actions invite us to reflect. When the unexpected arrives at our doorstep, do we respond with open arms and kindness, or do we turn away, wary and closed off? Abraham did not recognize the true identity of his guests. He simply saw people in need and responded with generosity, not knowing that his simple act of kindness would have far-reaching consequences. True hospitality, as Abraham shows us, is about honoring others without expecting anything in return. It's about seeing the humanity in every stranger and offering what we can, no matter how small. Abraham's example challenges us to consider, how do we treat the strangers who cross our paths? Do we see them as interruptions, or as opportunities to show kindness and make a difference? Sometimes, the greatest blessings in life come when we open our doors and hearts to the unknown, embracing those who are different from us. Radical hospitality has the power to transform lives, to build bridges, and to create moments of connection that ripple outward in ways we can't imagine. Abraham's kindness sets the stage for miracles, reminding us that every act of welcome, no matter how small, can change the world. As Abraham serves his mysterious guests under the shade of his tent, one of them turns and asks, "Where is Sarah, your wife?" The question hangs in the air, gentle but purposeful, as if inviting something deeper than a simple answer. Then comes the astonishing promise, words that seem to defy the reality of age and time. Sarah will have a son. For Abraham and Sarah, who have waited decades for a child, this is more than news. It is a disruption of everything they've come to accept. Sarah, listening just out of sight from inside the tent, hears the promise. She laughs quietly to herself, not out of joy, but from a place where hope has faded. Her heart, worn by years of longing and disappointment, is cautious, even skeptical. Her laughter is soft, almost hidden, a sound shaped by the ache of dreams that feel impossible. It's the laughter of someone who has learned to protect herself from hope, who has grown used to disappointment. But the Lord hears her doubt and responds with a question that pierces through her defenses. Is anything too hard for the Lord? It's not a rebuke, but an invitation to imagine a reality beyond her own limitations. Sarah, caught off guard, denies that she laughed. Yet God gently calls her out, not to shame her, but to draw her closer, to invite her to believe in something greater than her past disappointments. We've all had Sarah moments, times when hope feels foolish, when it's easier to expect nothing than to risk being let down again. Doubt can feel safer than faith, especially when life has taught us to be cautious. Yet, this ancient story reminds us that even in our most skeptical moments, the impossible can become possible. Light can break through the cracks of our doubt, offering a new beginning. God meets us right where we are, in our disbelief, our questions, our guarded hearts, and gently invites us to trust again, to open ourselves to hope once more. Sarah's laughter, once a symbol of doubt, becomes a turning point, a sacred moment where human uncertainty meets divine possibility, and everything begins to change. Is anything too hard for the Lord? That question, echoing through the ages, still invites us to wonder, to hope, and to believe in what we cannot yet see. After the meal, the mysterious visitors rise and turn their gaze toward the distant cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, their purpose now shifting from hospitality to something far more profound. The air is thick with anticipation, as if the very earth senses that something momentous is about to unfold. Abraham, ever the gracious host, walks with them, his curiosity piqued. As they journey together, God pauses, almost as if inviting Abraham into a sacred confidence, and wonders aloud, "Shall I hide from Abraham what I'm about to do?" This is not just a rhetorical question, but an invitation to partnership. God then reveals his plan. He has heard the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah and intends to investigate personally. This is a powerful model of divine justice, not acting on hearsay or rumor, but seeking the truth firsthand, ensuring that every action is rooted in fairness and understanding. God's trust in Abraham is clear. He knows Abraham will guide his family and descendants in the ways of justice and righteousness, setting an example for generations to come. This trust is not given lightly. It is earned through character and faithfulness. In this moment, we are challenged to reflect on our own lives. Are we living in such a way that we, too, could be trusted with deeper truths and greater responsibilities? Leadership in God's eyes is about integrity and the willingness to stand for what is right, even when it is difficult. As the angels continue on their mission, Abraham remains behind, standing before God. He is no longer just a bystander, but is now drawn into a profound conversation about justice, mercy, and the fate of entire cities. The destiny of Sodom and Gomorrah hangs in the balance, suspended between judgment and mercy. The weight of this moment is immense, as the future of countless lives depends on what happens next. Abraham is transformed from a simple host into a participant in the divine deliberation. He stands at the threshold of history, invited to speak, to question, and to plead for justice and compassion. This moment sets the stage for Abraham's boldest act yet, his courageous intercession on behalf of others, risking everything to appeal to God's sense of justice and mercy. Sometimes being open to God's presence means being drawn into the world's deepest needs, and having the courage to stand in the gap for others, even when the outcome is uncertain. Faced with the news of Sodom's fate, Abraham steps forward, not in fear, but in faith. He asks, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked?" He appeals to God's justice and mercy. Abraham negotiates, "If there are 50 righteous, will you spare the city?" God agrees. Emboldened, Abraham keeps going. 45, 40, 30, 20, 10. Each time, God says yes. 10 righteous people would have saved the cities. Abraham's persistence isn't annoyance, it's welcomed. He stands in the gap, pleading for mercy for people he doesn't know. This is the power of intercession, using our voice for others, believing God listens. Abraham's courage challenges us. Who are we standing in the gap for? One person's faith-filled plea can make a world of difference. Mercy and justice are always worth fighting for. What do we take from this story today? First, Abraham's radical hospitality, welcoming the stranger, giving our best, and seeing every encounter as sacred. Second, Sarah's journey from doubt to hope, daring to believe when everything says it's impossible. Third, Abraham's bold intercession, using our voice to advocate for others even when it's uncomfortable. These are not just ancient lessons, they're a blueprint for living with purpose. Kindness, faith, and advocacy are the pillars of a meaningful life. We're called to open our hearts, nurture hope, and stand up for those in need. Relationship with others, with our doubts, and with the divine transforms us. Abraham's legacy is built on connection, courage, and compassion. Let's build our own legacy, starting today. As we close, remember, the sacred often arrives in the ordinary. Abraham's story is a call to action. Kindness is a verb, faith is a risk, and advocacy is a responsibility. Look for the travelers in your life, those who need kindness, hope, or a voice. Dare to believe in the impossible and use your voice for mercy and justice. Let Abraham's example inspire you to live more openly, bravely, and compassionately. Share these lessons. Keep their power alive. When we live this way, we help build a world filled with more justice, more hope, and more love. Go out and live your beautiful, blessed life.